What's up? This your boy Big Dog. In this video, I'm starting a new series called The Lords of the Ring, where I talk about some of the greatest boxers of all time. In the first episode of Lords of the Ring, we're going to talk about none other than the great Sugar Ray Leonard. Let's get into it, y'all. So Sugar Ray Leonard, man. He's considered one of the greatest boxers ever to put on some gloves, man. One of the greatest ever step in the ring. He's out of Wilmington, North Carolina. And his professional career spanned from 1977 all the way to 1997. Even before he turned pro, man, he was showing his greatness early. In 1973, he won the Golden Gloves, and at lightweight. 1974, he won the Golden Gloves at light welterweight. Then the next year, in 1975, he won the Pan American Games. He was the gold medalist at the light welterweight. And then the next year, in 1976, he was the Olympic gold medalist at light welterweight. He's an Olympic champion, and he was showing 4 years of greatness even before he stepped into the ring as a professional. That was pretty much just like a foreshadow of a great career. Sugar Ray Leonard was already showing his skills, his talent in that ring even before he became professional. So Sugar Ray Leonard becomes a pro in 1977. And then in the next year, in 1978, he has his first ranked opponent. And that opponent was none other than Floyd Mayweather Sr. As you know, as the father of the great Floyd Mayweather Jr. He beat Floyd Mayweather Sr. With a 10th round knockout. So that was his first ranked opponent. He got the knockout. In 1979, another big fight in Sugar Ray's career. He knocked out Pino Renzani. And he won his title, man. He won the title. He won the North American Boxing Federation Welterweight Championship in that fight. And then 1979, he had another big fight against Wilfred Benitez. Benitez was undefeated when Sugar Ray fought him. He was 38 wins, no losses. He had one draw. And Sugar Ray beat him by TKO in the 15th round and became the WBC welterweight champion. And that fight took place in Caesar's Palace. Sugar Ray Leonard started climbing the ranks, putting that resume in to become a legend. Then the next year, we get to 1980, June 20th. He faced Roberto Duran, one of the most dangerous boxers. And more on Roberto Duran in a minute. Roberto Duran, he was 71 wins, only one L, stepping into the ring against Sugar Ray Leonard. The Hands of Stone. They called this fight the Brawl in Montreal. Roberto Duran actually beat Sugar Ray in this bout. He won by decision. He beat Sugar Ray by decision. But hey, later on that year, November 25th, they had the rematch, and Sugar Ray got the best of Roberto Duran in that rematch. He won by TKO in round number 8. This is the famous No Mas fight. This is when Roberto Duran, put it like this, man. Sugar Ray was putting the beats on Roberto Duran in this fight, and Roberto Duran like, man, no Mas, man, I'm good, man, no more, please stop the fight. Later on, Duran came with an excuse talking about he quit because of cramps, but Sugar Ray and a lot of other people felt like Duran quit because he was getting embarrassed. Like, he wasn't used to getting embarrassed like that in the ring. I mean, Sugar Ray put the beats on him in that second fight. So Roberto quit. He said no mas. It is what it is, man. So the next year, he has a big fight against another legend. And before I get into that, let me tell you, it was a you call it a super group called the Four Kings. The Four Kings was 4 of the best boxers of the 80s, man. All of them legends. And what it was, they was considered like a super group, I guess, but they all fought each other. And they kept boxing really popular throughout the 80s. And the four was Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, who Sugar Ray fought twice already. And then you had Marvelous Marvin Hagler and Thomas the Hitman Hearns. So the next four king he fought was Thomas Hearns. That was in September 16th, 1981 in Las Vegas. And this fight was the unified World Welterweight Championship. And it was named Fight of the Year. The fight was stopped in round 14. Sugar Ray won the fight. He also had some controversy with this fight as well. Sugar Ray, he won both rounds, but people felt like the scoring was still off. Like, they felt like them scoring at 10-9 didn't give it justice. They felt like Sugar Ray should have won both those rounds 10-8, but at the end of the day, he still won the fight. He put the beats on Thomas Hearns in them 2 rounds, so those rounds wasn't close, and that's why people felt like the scoring was wrong. Even though Sugar Ray won, they felt like the scoring should have been the distance should have been a little further. So Sugar Ray Leonard's 1981, man. He was Fight of the Year according to Ring Magazine. Fight of the Year, Fight of the Year. He was Athlete of the Year by the ABC's Wide World of Sports. 1981 was a pretty great year for Sugar Ray Leonard, man. 1982, he announced his retirement from boxing. He realized he had a detached retina. And so he had let boxing go, but then to make sure he came out of retirement. He fought Kevin Howard. Kevin Howard was the first person to ever knock down Sugar Ray Leonard, which is crazy. But Sugar Ray still won the fight, put the beast on him. The ref stopped the fight in the 9th round. 1986, this is when he fought the final member of the Four Kings, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. It was March 10th, 1986. Classic fight. Sugar Ray won by split decision. A lot of people felt like Hagler won. They said Hagler was the aggressor. But what Sugar Ray Leonard did was smart. At the end of rounds, he would just throw flurries, and it looked like he was just, putting in work on Marvin Hagler. But they were like, the flurries weren't even really doing damage. The punches was pretty much hitting arms and gloves, and wasn't really even doing damage. But the way it looked, the end of round, just throwing flurries, it kind of, the way it looked, it made the judges feel like Sugar Ray was winning the rounds. It was smart on Sugar Ray, and Sugar Ray got the win, man. His final fight was in 1997. In between that, though, he fought Donnie Lalonde, Thomas Hearns again, Roberto Duran for the 3rd time. Terry Norris dominated Sugar Ray. In February 9th, 1991. But then 6 years later, man, he had one final match, and that was against Hector Macho Camacho. Hector Macho Camacho was 62 wins, 3 L's, only 1 draw. He dropped Sugar Ray like 2 times, man, but Sugar kept getting up, but then after a while, Camacho just started teeing off on him, man, and Sugar Ray was on the ropes defenseless, man. He was done, man. That was his final fight. But that ended his great career, man. Sugar Ray Leonard, man. He finished his career 36 wins, 3 L's, 1 draw. And he finished as one of the all-time greats, man. Fun fact, he's the first boxer to earn over $100 million in purses for his boxing career, man. And he was doing that, 80s, 90s. So, it just lets you know how box office Sugar Ray was. But tell me what you think, man. Like, share, subscribe. Big Dog out.